Okay, hello and welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League. I'm your host and commissioner, Sierra Cotto, here with my co-host, Mike Cabalon, Iffy Waddy Way.
Rolling in with the okay.
That's like news radio level.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. How are you guys doing today? I didn't have any particular. We obviously had Bostonian Iffy last week, so welcome back.
Yeah,
Iffy.
yeah. I'm glad to never do that again.
Iffy.
Oh my gosh, we didn't even. Okay, did you see the YouTube comments? We got 2 YouTube comments.
Oh no,
really?
I didn't. I stopped reading the YouTube comments.
That's fair.
The YouTube comments haven't been mean or anything.
Oh, sorry, not of ours, my own.
Oh.
I'm gonna pull them up right now. So we had 2 comments on the YouTube video for Bostonian Iffy. One of them said, "I'm a Massachusetts girly, and Iffy's Boston accent is killing me." Boston is in quotes there.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Well, you know, maybe you know, she's like, it's so good. It's better than Boston. I got to put it in quotes.
No.
Right,
There's
right.
one emoji with tears, a second emoji with more tears, and a third emoji with X's for eyes. So I don't think that Liz C meant that in a complimentary way.
Okay.
Crying and then death.
Okay. Well, what's the other one say?
The other one is from Elizabeth, and this comment simply says, "This is horrifying."
That could mean anything.
Well, yeah, because maybe she had a bad experience in Boston.
Okay.
And she's like,
yeah.
this is reminding me.
Yeah.
It's horrifying. It's reminding me.
It's taking me right back to the
It's taking me right back to the
Bay.
bean town.
Yeah.
I can talk about something that happened this week, which is last week I ate at Celine,
Ooh.
which is Dave Barron's restaurant in Santa Monica. Dave Barron currently does Pastioli, also in Santa Monica, but formerly worked at Alinea for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And did dialogue here in LA. I never got to eat there before it closed. Celine is his new tasting menu, fancy restaurant, just opened in December, and lives up to the hype.
Oh, really?
I would not be surprised if that gets an easy 2 Michelin stars this year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I only say that because no one in LA has ever gotten 3. So it's just like, they're never going to do
Got it. And
But yeah,
they won't
great experience. Highly recommend. If you have the money to blow. It's a very...
Oh, sure.
The price is commensurate with a 2 Michelin star meal.
Yeah.
Got it.
But it was
Fancy
great.
time.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of restaurants, I did go to Firstborn, which is like a
Oh,
new
I've been wanting to
Chinatown
go.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also fancy, but like, you know, I think you can...
Attainable fancy.
Yeah, like you can kind of adjust accordingly. So if you want to go splurge, you get like the big entree, or if you don't, then you don't have to. But yeah, it was great. It was really like, I think it felt like kind of going back to some of the good like new American feel, but then they also have the Chinese influence. It's all really, it was really impressive.
Okay.
So
Nice.
definitely recommend.
I also ate at Bar Etoile last night, which is great. Oh, we've got some feedback.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to have to edit this out of the YouTube video.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back in.
We're back.
So,
Yes.
Bar Etoile was great.
hell yeah. Crushed it. So,
I don't know how we're going to edit this, but just so everyone at home knows, we just had a technical problem and now we're all thrown for a loop.
Absolutely. But we fixed it. And now, what a better time to transition into the episode. It's week 10 at Top Chef, Destination
10.
Canada.
Crazy.
I know. We are back in the stew room. We get an immediate fun little Tristen-Massimo moment. If anybody's watching.
Do you think it was a V? I don't think it was a V.
I think,
well, what do you mean?
I think when someone's like, Massimo represents everything
Sure.
that I
That's
don't
what I
fuck
mean.
with in cooking. I feel like that's a V Massimo.
I think he said it in like a non-confrontational way, though. It wasn't like, Massimo, your cooking sucks, my cooking's awesome.
Right.
He was like, respectfully, that's just not how I like. I feel like I do that sometimes with comedy. I'm like, I respect your jokes, but like, that's not my style. I'm not into that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I think in their conversation, no, but I definitely think in the confessional, it felt like he was like, this is gonna come out wrong. But everything he doing is why I do it.
Sure.
Just to shut that down.
I get up in the morning. Yeah.
I'll get up in the morning to crush him. Unfortunately, sometimes you get crushed.
Sure, it did. Well, okay. So many thoughts because I do think I agree. It's like
I could talk about this forever.
It's as V as like Top Chef gets these days, which is like pretty non-V, right?
Sure.
There's not a lot of confrontation. They're not trying to get in the mud like they used to in reality TV.
Well, you know, and I feel like it's because a show like Top Chef now, it doesn't matter how far you get. If you have a pretty good showing, I think your restaurant benefits.
And
because of that, you're always trying to put on your best face. You don't want to be known as you don't want the villain. Yeah, you don't want the villain at it because that can affect the desirability of your restaurant.
Yeah, I do wonder how Shoogie's Trash Pie is doing.
I was just going to to bring that up. I wonder how David Murphy took the hit.
It's funny that you remember the name because I just keep calling it the Trash Restaurant. And
upcycling.
It's in the name. It's in the name.
Yeah. Well, okay. More context to this fight too, or not fight, but basically Tristan was like, I can't cook without a narrative because they were talking about Vinny's sort of being down on his narrative or something like that. And then Massimo goes like, I don't cook with a narrative. I just like look at all the food in front of me and I say, what can I make from this? That's great. And it's like, yeah, everybody does that.
Yeah, I know. That was the funniest reply where it's like, yeah, you just basically described cooking. Like you didn't add anything to this conversation.
Yeah, that's like a fresh take on this. And and here's what it does remind me of. I'm drawing parallels to comedy, but it's like when, you're just typical straight dude comic comes in and is like, don't talk about race so much. Like you just be funny and the rest will follow. And it's like, I think the exact same thought. That might work for you, buddy. But also it's like they are talking about race. It just is the default. So Massimo does have a narrative, but it's the default,
Which I think that Tristan was kind of getting to. He's like, well, that is you do have a narrative. You're just not like putting a label on it. You know what I mean?
Right. He kind of gets to float with the French thing because that's huge.
Especially when he was, doing that one challenge where he's trying to get in Gail's pants and he's like, this one he's inspired by.
Right,
It's like, that's a narrative.
That's narrative, yeah. No, right. I had I drew the exact same parallel. For me, it's what it made me think of is like, one of my pet peeves is when writers are like, I don't know what to write about. Mm-hmm. And that's different from writer's block. Everyone runs into writer's block. Mm-hmm. But what I mean is like, there are some people, and it's generally straight white men, who are like, I want to be a writer, but I don't know what to write about. And to me, I'm like, that's the hard part. You know what I mean? Like, you could pluck any person of color off any street in America and be like, tell me your story. And they'd have 1,000 stories to tell. And you can teach that person how to write.
Yeah.
You can teach anyone how to write. So if you're like, I know how to write, I'm a good writer, I don't know what to write about, I'm like, then step aside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's 1,000 other people who could be a better writer if you just put a pencil in their hand.
Oh, yeah.
And so that it's like that thing where it's just like, I love, like, I cook with a narrative. And if you're like, well, I can cook, I just don't know what to cook. Then I'm like, then what are you doing?
Sure,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, if you don't have a POV, you're not an artist. Get out of here. Yeah. That's the whole game.
Right. That's why people are cooking, or that's why people are writing. Yeah. But then, of course, who ends up owning the restaurant, or who ends up being the executive producer. Anyway.
The showrunner.
Sorry,
the showrunner who fired me after 4 episodes.
I'm looking at you. Yeah, good. We're taking all our good energy out in this little tiny confrontation.
Oh, yeah.
I always wonder how much of our audience we lose when we get inside baseball about Hollywood stuff. I'm like, I feel like a lot of people listen for our cooking show stuff, and then we start talking about Hollywood stuff, and it's just like, what's the Venn diagram there?
I think that's why that sports radio comparison really sung for me, because I feel like there's an element where if you're like a big fan of like TV competition shows, you're interested in a Hollywood bullshit.
Sure.
And so like the inside baseball is kind of like good flavor, and that's like me being Shannon Sharp, who's like, back in the day I was doing that.
Okay,
sure.
That checks out. That makes sense.
Yeah, we're basically the Charles Barkley, Shaq, and whoever that white man is.
Ooh,
Ernie?
How exciting! What an honor.
I think it's
maybe.
Ernie.
Oh,
yeah, I think Ernie.
That sounds right.
Yeah, I think it's Ernie, because I remember there's compilations of Chuck accidentally doing sexual innuendo all the time.
Always does.
Yeah.
Always does.
I don't know anything about the National Basketball Association. I do love watching clips of Inside the NBA.
Oh, wow.
It's so funny. It's like truly.
That's the appeal of our show.
Yeah.
Yes, we're the inside the NBA of cooking. Yeah.
Great. Well, you're stuck now. Listen to our inside baseball.
Inside the JBA, James Beard Association.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Getting that insider info. All right. So quick fire challenge this week was they kind of immediately pay off Massimo's French ability by showing it's a dépanneur, which is an equivalent of like convenience store or whatever in French or in Canada.
Yeah.
And then that's all set up in the kitchen or studio space.
They did Did you think it was weird that it was like a bottle episode? They did the whole episode in the studio kitchen. I was like, did we run out of money? What happened?
Their last chance. I mean, they've been doing this kind of a lot in Toronto, and it's their last episode in Toronto, as we know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a little strange.
After the Drake Kendrick beef, they're like, oh, this like American Hollywood West Coast
We're
in
not
Toronto.
in our town.
Right,
not
we
the
can't.
six.
Fair. Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
and
yo,
speaking
I need
of
y'all
six,
to go down there, make sure those Top Chef guys.
Is that your Drake?
Yeah.
Wow.
Make sure this.
oh yeah, I can see it.
You used to call me on your cell
Oh yeah,
phone.
yeah. There we go.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back down there.
Careful. Can't get claimed.
Champagne Poppy,
Oh. But speaking
Millie
of
Bobby Brown.
You give
Oh,
him like
no.
a slight speech impediment that I'm like, where's that coming from?
If you listen,
I
he
think-
kind of has that.
because he's trying
Yeah.
to, be cool and
Yeah,
like kind
it's
of
me,
drop,
Joe.
some,
Okay, yeah,
drop
yeah.
some syllables, drop
You
some.
used to call me on your. You used to.
Oh.
I need a one dance.
Oh man. Okay.
Got a Hennessy in my hand.
How many
Oh.
Drake songs
One
can he get
more
through?
time before I go. Started at
Wow.
the bottom, now we're here.
Oh.
Start them at the bottom now. All the chefs here.
Beautiful. Perfect.
I've been
Yeah.
we have to
trying
pay
throw
Island
in.
Def Jam Records $1,000.
Yeah. That I mean, whew, close. Yeah.
Sorry, I cut
even
you off. What
more.
were you saying?
Oh no, I've been trying to get in my 6 transition to that. There's only 6 chefs left.
Nice.
Not for
Solid.
long. Not for
Okay.
long. Because Cesar returns. As we know, he won the Last Chance Kitchen Championship. He's
Which
back in.
Look, I'm very happy for Cesar, but I am so disappointed Katiana couldn't
She
get
was
back
so
in.
close. I know.
We talked about this last week. Wouldn't need to harp on it, but I'm like,
I wonder
Yeah,
what
what
people thought seeing Cesar return too, because I feel like people were not like, "Oh, no surprise." They were I think they were kind of relieved too, because maybe if it was Katiana, they'd be like, "Oh God,
oh no, yeah,
this is bad." Yeah,
I think it's also just like generally for an audience, it's disappointing when someone gets
Yeah.
right back in immediately after getting out. Like you want the underdog story of like they fought their way through Last Chance
Yeah.
Kitchen.
Yeah.
If it's like they like Cesar got back and they're like, you literally didn't miss anything. I'm like, that's not
Right.
narratively satisfying.
Yeah.
right. So like last episode didn't really matter. You
Yeah.
know, it does feel that way sometimes, but he's back. So they're 7 again. They're going to be in Calgary next episode for the semifinals. So that's exciting. And then we get an intro to Punky Johnson, everybody. Guest judge.
Oh,
this
We
week.
talked about last week.
So
Nothing to do with
funny.
Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
I
is-
guess not.
Yeah. And this is when I realized how tall Christian Kish is.
She is
Oh,
tall.
Because
yeah.
I've been in things with Punky and I know how much taller, and I'm like, because Punky is not a short person.
Oh,
That's
interesting.
when M was like, yeah,
she's-
Kristen is the same height as me, and
Yeah.
M is 6
Wow.
feet tall.
Right. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I have a friend
yeah.
who keeps telling us we have to have kids because they can play basketball.
It's true.
I mean,
Or be a model,
Yeah,
sure.
if you're that
Or
tall.
both.
Or
Yeah.
both.
You could be a model. Like Kristen is a model and a chef
That's right.
and a host.
Yeah.
So they could do all 3.
you know, M,
Inside NBA?
when she was like 18, auditioned for America's Next Top
Oh,
Model.
Oh, shit.
I believe
Got
it.
close, but in the end, basically the
They
way
said no
she
Asians.
sums the way they summed it up
Ooh.
was like they were trying to get her to be like the bitch,
Oh.
but like it was before reality TV was like
Yep. Yeah.
very comfortable with what it was, and it would be like you're gonna be the villain.
Right.
So like they were
Whoa.
kind of just like nudging her, and she's like, "What?" And then also they said she looked kind of similar to the person who won the season before.
Oh.
Hmm,
That's tough.
interesting.
Yeah.
Can't
So I
have,
wonder
You
if
know
that
what?
can't
person
have
was-
someone that looks
Yeah, yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
all-
well, then maybe
with
you'll
how
win.
different all models look. You know, you
Right.
be
God
an
forbid.
affront to the
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah. You know what? Good for her.
Yeah.
She's better off.
I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people had a great experience on that show, is my guess.
Yeah. Didn't leave a
Yeah,
great
well,
legacy.
Saved herself. Yeah.
But she didn't get to do that. But in my house, she's America's Next Top Bottom.
Oh.
Yeah,
You
gotcha.
You really got me with that one.
Yeah. I didn't
hate
know
that
I don't know where
laughed
that
so
was going. Okay, great.
It's
Funky
a funny
Johnson, everyone.
punchline, and it's also verbally like saying next top bottom is
Yeah.
very funny.
Which, by the way,
Sure.
as an ally, any gay listeners want to turn that to a TikTok contest, go for it. It's
Oh,
all yours.
audio?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
all yours.
Yeah.
Perfect. So many opportunities here in this podcast for that.
All right, rein us back in.
Yeah. But Punky Johnson, everybody, she's not as short as she looks on TV. Apparently her whole thing, speaking of TikTok, was cooking in the dressing room.
Did not know that.
Cooking in like a Instant Pot or like electrical appliances. Yeah, I think maybe I saw one, but I think I had seen it after a few others. So I thought she was just doing another,
Right.
like it was one off, but apparently this was her thing.
Okay.
So the challenge is going to be create a dish only using items found in the dépanneur, which is all labeled in French. So Massimo is like already ahead of the game.
Yeah.
And you only have access to the electrical equipment that Punky had in her dressing room. So
this was a fun quickfire.
Yeah.
I like a quickfire. Like they really kind of, I'd say like compared to maybe last season's like I feel like they really got creative with this season.
Yeah.
And like really are like knocking it out the park, at least for me.
I'll generally agree, but that when we get to the elimination challenge this week,
sure, I have some things to discuss
we'll
there
put a pin
too.
in that.
But I agree, this is at least, it was clearly a challenge. Like nobody really crushed it, or some people did, but it clearly, it was tough for people at this point. So that's saying something. Did you notice at some point when Massimo was like presenting his dish, Lana leans over to Cesar and was like, "Did you miss Massimo?" Like when he was gone,
right?
Because I think he was like being extra loud again, and she was. They like made sure to key over that. And they were really trying to make Massimo the bad guy here, which is funny. The editors. But anyway, so the dishes were as follows. Cesar did his cheddar popcorn grits, apple bacon celery.
Didn't know you can make popcorn and grits.
Yeah.
I learned something new there.
Yeah.
Fun.
Seems right. Seems like it makes sense.
Yeah.
Tristan did his bacon roasted hot dogs with yakame broth with celery, sauerkraut, and croissant.
I was so bummed it wasn't good.
Sure.
Because him whipping out a yakame broth, I was like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Could be good.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just didn't look good either. It looked like slop.
Yeah.
Sure.
Once again,
sad
probably
looking.
tastes great.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needed the blender. That was the thing. That didn't count as something that she
Which
had.
is surprising. You would think you would have. That's an electric appliance, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you be able to?
You could totally have that in your dressing room with a hot plate and
But I guess because it is a dressing room, it's like
it's too loud.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have that.
Oh, right. You don't want to disturb what's live at Saturday night.
Right.
Lana did her savory ham and cheese waffle with harissa syrup and celery salad.
Not enough ham, not enough cheese.
They did want more of that. They were confused where it was, but it was in the waffle somewhere, cooked into it probably. Massimo did his hybrid of mozzarella and carrozza and saucisson. A lot of French things there. He used like those packaged sandwiches and then used the bread from that, which was kind of funny.
Was he also, am I misremembering, made his own cheese? No.
Oh,
nope. Okay.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't remember what that would mean.
I've also started watching this season of Next Level Chef, so I might be mixing it up.
Oh, okay.
I'm intaking a lot of cooking content.
Sure.
Someone made their own cheese at some point.
It's in the mix.
Yeah, I don't know.
How do you make your own cheese?
I don't know.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you. Could not
confused.
tell you.
Okay. That's okay.
You let it get old.
Everybody's safe.
I know that part.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Takes time.
Let the milk get old.
Oh, got it. Ooh, okay.
Or
it's
you can,
dangerous.
I think it's like a churning process too.
Oh,
let's keep guessing.
Butter. Okay, yeah, aged.
Real cheeseheads know.
Oh, hell yeah. Let us know.
Okay. I'm trying to remember who I was. It was someone that was like, oh, I rehydrated cheese curds or something like that and then stretched it out. I don't know. Someone's going to write it. Someone is yelling at their car radio right now.
It could be possible that he did that. That sounds like a thing that could happen in a dépanneur.
Sure.
And in a dressing room.
I'll say yes.
I'll say yes, and then Shuai had his croque monsieur with ham, cheese, and curds.
Great.
Vinny,
curd. Curds the word. Sorry.
Perfect. Vinny did his pate and croûte crustless sandwich with ham and goat cheese.
I like the idea of trying to do an Uncrustable.
Yeah.
And I'm bummed it didn't work.
Me too.
Well,
I was like, damn.
Also, they should have make the Uncrustable like in the break between, because he just eats, I guess we're learning he eats like a kid. Like he does the Uncrustables. He was making himself an Uncrustable PB&J like in the break between the quickfire and the elimination challenge.
Oh, that's fun.
And then he ordered from Chipotle like a quesadilla.
Oh, that's right.
So he's like kind of like when he's not on the clock, he's not
I get that. Look, sometimes you just,
sure.
I don't watch a lot of comedies at home.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah, don't bring it home with you. Bailey does her raisin prune mostarda toasty with foie pot, apple, crushed candied peanuts, celery leaf. A lot of celery leaf in this batch.
The only green in the whole dépanneur.
Little celery leaves. Yeah, so the faves were Massimo, Cesar, and Shuai. I'll get half a point. And Cesar wins for, hell yeah, with his popcorn grits. His win coming back in. So he's got lots of, that doesn't happen. Last Chance Kitchen momentum gives you a win right away.
Yeah.
So, and then the least favorites for Bailey, Vinny, Lana, and Tristan, basically everybody else. But yeah, so Massimo, beat Tristan in that one, unfortunately, even though we had just come off of this thing where we're like, come on, Tristan. Okay. On to the elimination challenge. We have guest judges Antonio Park, Fred Morin, and Fisoon Erkan. all judging.
I really got the itch scratched of like when I watch Great British Bake Off, I love hearing accents that are from 2 to 3 places. You know what I mean? And I feel like I got that with all 3 of these guest judges. Like Fisoon, it was like you could hear a little bit of like, I don't know, Nordic, but it's filtered through like French Canadian.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, I love this.
Oh, cool.
The layers.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Boston Bobby.
Yeah. That's also what was so
layered accent.
That's what was going on with Bostonian Iffy. He's just been too many places.
Yeah, Boston Iffy grew up in Australia.
Yeah, exactly. Boston Bobby, I came from Australia.
Okay.
Australia with 2 L's, pronounced Spanish.
Estrella.
Australia.
Perfect. It's the only way to properly pronounce the homeland. This is going to be the last challenge in Toronto. We went over that. The challenge is design your dishes using delicious, sustainably grown Montreal rooftop ingredients, only utilizing ingredients and products left over in the pantry, and use your dish to transport everyone to one of the 4 seasons.
This is where I was like, we ran out of budget. What the hell is this challenge?
Right. Guys, we just use the scraps and use one of the 4 seasons.
The scraps isn't enough. Add another. Put a hat on a hat there.
You got to do something else.
I will let you know. Trash Man was at home mad as fuck.
Oh,
He was like, this is my season. This is the season I should have done.
He's ready to upcycle that shit.
I would have done that.
Adding it was so. Yeah, I felt like it was so surreal for them to be like, based off one of the 4 seasons they have here in Canada: spring, summer, winter, fall. And I'm like, the same seasons
so.
we have
everywhere else.
Yeah. How is this net Toronto specific for the last challenge there?
Really threw me off.
But also, okay, so when they did the sustainability thing, which is great, and that felt a little more Toronto specific, but like they didn't enforce it at all. Like like some people did it and they're like, cool. Anyway, you know, and they didn't like give them much of a reward for doing that. And like, were there rules of like, oh, no waste? Not really.
No.
So it was kind of just.
In fact, they're like, whatever you don't use, we're going to donate because sustainable. You know what I mean? I'm like,
so it's like, really you don't have to force it, really.
Yeah. This challenge, I was like, I feel like they had an idea and they had to scrap it. You know what I mean?
Something fell through.
It was Drake coming in. And then,
oh, shit, yeah.
When the beef happened, they were like, we got to scrap it.
Yeah, sorry, man.
Yeah.
We can't have you on our show anymore. There are going to be kids
come
there.
On, I'm Drake. Aubrey Drake Graham.
No.
You used to. Call me on your cell phone.
Yeah, they could have just, you could have just gone and then they wouldn't have, just like, he's in the booth, sorry.
I'm just saying, you
His
should
voice
be
is gonna be here.
grateful.
Oh, yeah.
To that type.
Oh, yeah.
You got to laugh at a Gabe in the booth.
Yeah. I think that's what I like about our mics being a little lower. I can hear. So there's, Val was probably laughing way more than she put on. I just couldn't hear because we were too loud.
Yeah.
Because we've got,
The truth is out.
Okay. Good.
I would go home and I'd be throwing darts at my face like I couldn't make Val laugh.
Oh, no.
Val's
it's tough.
Arms crossed. She's just staring daggers at me.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she would do the gladiator thing. Do the whole
recording.
Oh,
holding the thumb sideways.
Holding her thumb
I've
sideways.
got my thumb sideways
Oh,
right now.
no. Careful. You're on thin ice here.
It's twitching back and forth.
And then these chairs in the studio are hooked up like a bad guy in a James Bond film where like if Val pushes a button, the floor opens up.
Oh, God. Yeah. That would be good. Wait, fun fact about gladiators.
Here we go.
When I was in Rome, I learned that they don't think it was thumbs up or thumbs down. Now they think it might have just been them using a thumb to cut across their throat to say kill. But then they interpreted that in the movie as thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever. Historians interpreted it.
Oh, interesting.
That's so funny because I remember it's thumbs up. You save him, thumbs down, he dies. And they're like, oh, actually, in history, it was the other way because people wanted to see death. So thumbs up, they die. Thumbs down, they do it. And now they're saying that you do the thumb across the neck thing, which that feels fake. I feel like they weren't doing that in Rome. Like I was seeing all the stuff they was doing when I was in Pompeii. I went to the brothel and you had to pay per position. So I don't want anyone.
You have to pay per position?
Yes. So I don't want to hear anyone complain about modern sex work.
Oh, wait. Could you cheat the system by going like 3 hours in one position? Do you know
I think
what I mean?
so. Yeah.
But then you have to be happy.
Yeah.
You have to be happy with that one position.
You have to. Yeah. That's the thing. It was like, man, you mad boring. Dave did missionary for 5 hours.
Yeah. And then
but he got his money's worth.
Yeah.
It's like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet and just being like, well, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
I already paid for my meal. I'm gonna eat 2 meals.
Yeah, I'm getting
then
both.
then the volcano goes off and you're stuck in that position for the rest of
Forever.
eternity.
Have y'all ever been to, speaking of buffets, Fuji Buffet in Lindale?
Oh, I always drive past it, and because it's by
Fuji
In-N-Out.
Buffet?
It's a banger.
Really?
I think we should go. Yeah,
Oh
they
my
have.
God.
It's like straight up like you go in there, and there are Asian families with their own brought from home crab crackers because they have like huge king crab legs.
Hell
Interesting.
yeah.
I would have
team
thought it
field
wouldn't
trip.
be good.
Okay, let's
You
go.
gotta- like I trust any buffet I go when there's like full like Asian families. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh. The one thing I know from all the Asian homies is that usually the dad loves a deal.
Yep.
So it's going to be well priced.
Accurate.
And they'll only get something like out of like if it's highly valuable.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
That is
interesting, yeah.
based on. I feel like I still like use the metric of like comedy is a like a kind of like transition of cultures.
Okay.
Like there's that one guy who does the meme of like how to maximize going to the buffet. And
Oh
he's-
yeah.
I love that bit every time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's the same thing, except my dad took us to Hometown Buffet, and I feel like that wasn't. I feel like Hometown Buffet when we were kids, tight. I went
Sure.
going as an
Yeah,
adult.
what-
I don't think Hometown.
Yeah, I haven't
What's
been to
going
one
on?
since I was a
I don't
kid.
know what
Is it
are they
depressing?
falling off?
Yeah, I went to a Sizzler as an adult.
Oh no.
It's
That's better than I thought you would say it would be.
Yeah,
like if it's like a stony baloney day and you're like I don't want to cook
Stony
anything.
baloney day.
I've been watching stuff. I'm kind of like stoned. Sizzlers 5-star.
Sure. Yeah.
Any other time, very much
Yeah. All right. That checks out. That makes sense.
Sure. I do have a lot of memories. Hometown Buffet. I think they're the ones, but whatever, where like there was an age limit and like just being able to get in as
that's
whatever kid
okay.
for a while.
Yeah, that's why my dad would always take us.
Sure.
Because once we got to a certain age, he just stopped, and now
Right. Yeah,
sense.
because it's like
yeah.
This is a
Can't
little bit
ID
of
a
my
kid.
bias because I grew up in Las Vegas.
Oh,
which
yeah,
is
so
like
you
you
had
can't top those buffets.
Yeah.
Sure.
So like that was my bar for what a buffet was, and then like I would go spend the summer with my cousins, and we would go to like a hometown buffet, and I'd be like, "What the fuck is this?"
What is this?
Like 8-year-old me
trash?
being like, "This is garbage." Do you guys not know what a buffet is?
This doesn't
No.
have. Yeah, we have to go to Fuji because it is
Cool.
like
Yeah.
they
No,
have just giant. They just stack them up, and you just see the dads
Oh my
just
God.
like
I'll do a winner's dinner at
Yeah,
Fuji.
I honestly, I've always been curious about that place, and then I always kind of thought I was skeptical because I was like, I just feel like there has been a new restaurant in that place every few years. That Fuji has stuck around,
yeah.
but I think I'm like, it just gets the runoff from In-N-Out, maybe.
Yeah.
Like they get
People
lucky,
who get in line for In-N-Out,
and they're like,
I'm
I'm
not
starving,
waiting.
I need to eat
I
something.
Used to think the same thing too,
Yeah.
and then M saw like a TikTok foodfluencer video
And-
on it.
Oh.
And they kind of gave it the thumbs up. And then I went and I was like, and I was afraid too. I was like, maybe TikTok made it blow up.
Yeah.
But I think that people are intimidated by the Asian families.
Okay.
I feel like
sure.
internet people,
That's
you know what I'm
great.
talking
Can't
about?
be,
for
yeah.
Like
sure.
when they see like, I was like, oh, there's not a bunch of young white Gen Z white people
exactly.
here. I'm
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, understand.
Me, I see an Asian family. I'm like, let's fucking
That's
die.
like
Right.
most restaurants in Inglewood. It's like those food influencers are not going down there because just like old black dudes.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like,
they're like,
that's how
oh.
you know it's good.
Yeah, I know. It's
Right,
like,
right.
why are you not like? That's the cosign.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you gotta go in and check it out. All right. Well, we will see you, Fuji. soon.
Fuji.
Can't wait. Where were we? Okay, so we agree this challenge is a little convoluted, but Cesar, as his quickfire win reward, he gets to pick his first choice, and he picked summer. Cesar loves his summer.
Kind of pointless. The whole seasons, I'm like, who gives a shit? That's not an
Yeah.
advantage to
It's
pick
like,
your
you
season
can
first.
probably figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what. So he picked summer, and also it's like no one else can pick what he picked. Okay,
Right.
great.
Sure.
Thanks.
Great. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Anyway, and then we get our little break between. So Shuai reads his hidden note that he found from his schwife. And he cries.
Schweif.
Yeah, we gotta have the schwife.
Okay.
And he cries, so he gets half a point.
Okay. Yeah.
Very exciting. But yeah, very sweet. That was cute. And
That was
he was
cute.
obviously motivated by it. And
Yeah,
gave
got
a little
charged up.
nudge.
That's what you need. A note
right.
from a wife.
I feel like people are going to steal that. Partners of chefs, you got to steal that move for future seasons.
Yeah.
If your partner's going on Top Chef, hide a little note in their luggage.
Yeah.
Right. But what if they never find it? I don't understand. Did he really just not find it? Or did
Yeah,
she
I don't
say
know.
don't open till when?
Yeah,
I don't know, but
I don't
then
know.
when do you know how long? Okay, anyway.
There are hidden compartments in luggage.
Yeah.
You can tuck it into a pocket somewhere.
Also,
Yes,
if
yes.
you know how people luggage up, like if Shuai is like, I stacked everything in order. and I'm
Right. If
just
he uses
pulling
like
out.
packing cubes and he's like, this underwear first, this underwear second, you
Yeah.
put it under number
Whoa,
2.
You're right. You big packing cube? You guys do that?
No, I just try and do the roll up method that everyone was crazy about. That does not work for me.
Okay.
Like the roll up method doesn't work for men my size because
I would imagine.
Trying to roll up like these pants is like trying to roll up a like standard flag.
You gotta do a triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like a soldier passed away.
Yeah.
A triangle.
Get the trumpet out. And
Can't let him touch the ground.
That's
exactly.
true. Disgrace if so.
I'm a packing cube guy.
Really?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
interesting. And it works and it's better than your
Big fan.
past strategy. Okay, wonderful.
Not everything in packing cubes, but like they are helpful.
Okay, cool.
They're a tool. They're a tool like anything else.
Well, okay, now Laura knows in case you go on Top Chef
That's
where
right.
to hide the
tuck a
secret
little note
letter.
back there, yeah.
All right, so the dishes, we'll start with winter. And the little table had little furs on the back.
Them changing the table setting was kind of cute.
Right, it's the least they can do. I mean,
Again, yeah,
they're
low
not
budget
going anywhere.
episode.
Yeah, so then Massimo did his salt crust chicken with chicken farce and cream sauce. People liked that he took risk. He took a risk with that pastry shell thing, and it did work out. But there was a little bit of like, in the kitchen. People liked that it was technically nice, and something maybe was missing to make it more comforting.
Potatoes. They're like, it's a winter dish. Give me a potato.
Something like that. Yeah. Shuai had his last bowl of hot pot with squash, sweet potato dumplings, fried enoki mushrooms, and mushroom dashi.
His little dumpling, the tied purse.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Cute.
That was really cute. Loved it.
What if he, instead of packing cubes, he just does little pouches? That's his thing. But yeah, so people were like, well, I'll remember the squash forever, which is very cute.
High praise.
Yeah, for on your deathbed, remembering that squash. But yeah, they really liked that. Okay, spring. Again, new table decor. Tristan came in with his roasted and charred Caraflex cabbage with spring potatoes, smoked lake fish. They had some trouble with his. They were like, the sauce is overseasoned, but the potatoes underseasoned.
Right. So it balances out at the end. But
because he said he tasted it as a whole thing, so you can understand that. But I guess maybe if you didn't, So that was a little bit of a letdown. Vinny did his lamb dumplings with morel, mushroom consomme, shucked English peas. Didn't get everything on the plate, so that's minus 0.25.
That's right.
Then, let's see, we did Cesar with his corn gazpacho, smoked cherry tomatoes filled with stuff that I didn't remember. Lightly poached lobster was in there as well. They weren't totally wowed. Punky was like, if you're going to put lobster on, I want more lobster.
I disagree with Punky there.
Okay.
I know what she's saying, but I was like, you're allowed to have a teeny bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Little lobster.
It's a fine dining portion of lobster.
Yeah. Got it. Okay. We'll see if Fuji has that much lobster. And Cesar was the only summer guy. And then fall, Bailey did her squash agrodolce, crispy polenta, smoked labna. Tom really liked it. It was kind of, some people liked it, some people didn't. Tom really liked it.
And she called it. She was like, this is going to be divisive.
Oh, yeah,
And she was correct.
She was right. Yeah. Kristen was like, it's a condiment, not a dish. Punky really liked it. It was her favorite. So, yeah, interesting. Polenta was beautiful, they said.
Yeah.
And then Lana did her butternut squash spatzel, sauteed kielbasa and sauerkraut juice, and sort of a nod to her German heritage.
Yeah.
And heavy, people said it was kind of heavy and monotonous, I guess. It was like kind of like a stew.
Yeah,
but
it's like a
I
slog,
could see that being
a solid wall of spetzel.
You want to break it up with some texture or something. So at the end of the day, though, the favorites were Massimo, Shuai, and Bailey. So they all get a point. And the winner was Shuai.
Yes.
2 points for him. That was his first solo win. Motivated by that little note. So that was cute.
The note works.
And it was nice that he did it. We won with his hot pot, which is something that was, special to him from childhood. And then the bottom were Tristan, Lana, Vinny, and Cesar. But then Cesar was safe, they assumed, because he won the quick fire and his wasn't totally bad. So
not the most offensive dish.
Yeah. And he used stuff in his garden. It was kind of cute. My one thing, they didn't really factor in sustainability at all. They were just sort of like, is it good? Did it evoke the season?
Right.
So that's what they should have focused on. And then at this point, I was like, I hope it's Vinny. Like, it's kind of between Vinny and Tristan. And I was like, I hope it's not Tristan. That seems crazy. Vinny goes home, and that was pretty much expected.
Yeah, because I feel like, ironically, he wasn't part of the conversation. I feel like Vinny has that problem that Tristan was describing, which is like he doesn't have a POV with his cooking.
Yeah.
He cooked a lot of just like, well, I worked at this place, so I made you this thing that I used to make at that place where I worked. And it's like, well, that's not you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it was sad because he was like, I didn't feel like I figured it out even this whole time.
Yeah.
Which he did fine. He obviously made it quite far, but.
Yeah, he got time too. Big Vincenzo make it happen down the line.
Early on, he was a front runner.
Yeah.
I think because he had those technical skills.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm talking about. It's just like, yeah, you can teach anyone to cook and they might excel and be really great. But if they don't have a POV, then it's like, well.
Right. What makes you going to be the person with the restaurant, I guess, as opposed to like, a line sous chef or whatever. Yeah. So it was sad to see him go, but kind of, I think he was getting demoralized as the time went on. Yeah. And then finally it was time. And no Last Chance Kitchen. So he's definitely gone. For,
right.
Unless sous
he's
chef
the first one to be gone forever.
Yeah. This is kind of the worst time.
Gone.
What is that? Is that another Drake song?
Bye.
Oh,
bye.
Oh, I see. Okay.
To the player too.
Oh,
I just want to do you for a game of two. You might hate me, but it ain't no lie, baby. Bye.
Baby, gone.
This is the most dad thing I've ever seen you do, which is sing the words to a popular song incorrectly. Just a little bit wrong.
I mean,
I was just kind of mumbling.
Yeah, we're just trying
in
to
the stuff that I know.
Do some original
content. You want
content.
to play me for a game or two? I just wanted something good next to you.
Are you like goofy dad with your kid? We also don't have to talk about this on air.
No, yeah. We can talk about it on air. I'm trying to push her into musicals because she loves like Disney stuff.
Okay.
So I was like, yo, let's do a musical.
Yeah.
Like, so the last time I tried, I was like, yo, my favorite musical is Little Shop of Horrors.
Okay,
so
classic.
Playing her the hits.
Yeah.
And then like she was kind of like vibing, and then I showed her a picture of Audrey too, and she was like, I'm out.
Oh no,
I don't like that.
It's too scary.
I don't like that. That's
too
scary. Yeah, because there was the movie version too. That's like extra.
The movie
moist.
version's pretty gnarly.
Yeah. Big old mouth, giant teeth, wet.
Yeah. Sure.
That thing.
But suddenly
is wet.
Seymour. Suddenly Seymour.
Yeah, that was great.
So good.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
I didn't realize you were a musical theater guy.
Not very selectively.
Okay.
I like that. I like Dreamgirls.
Sure.
Step into the bad side. Step into the bad side. I had to step into the bad side.
I don't know if this is recent or not. I got served a video on Instagram that Kesha was an extra in Dreamgirls.
What? Oh, I gotta find it.
Kesha went
Quite
on
young?
like the Jennifer Hudson show and was like, we've actually met before because I was like like a deep background shot extra in Dreamgirls.
Which I will take just a little umbrage of trying to be like, we met before.
I don't think that's what she said. I think that's me paraphrasing.
Yeah. I know. It is funny.
Right.
I love my background actors. Y'all are fun people and interesting.
What?
Could not have said that in a more strained and diplomatic way. Yeah.
I'm like, who are we talking to? No. But yes, it's an important
background
role.
actors are insane. Also.
I mean,
I'm speaking as someone who has been a background actor.
Okay, yes.
I'm not above it. I'm saying people who do it are crazy.
Yeah, no, it was so funny. Because Carl, he did a lot of like background stuff. Carl Tart, friend of the show and friend who lived with me for some time. And then when he was doing Grand Crew, like he had like a bunch of people from like when he was doing it, kind of recognized. He was like, "Oh, Carl, you doing background here?" And he's like, no, I'm in the show. I'm series regular. I was like, "Oh man," and he was like, sometimes he was like, you could see some people be like, I gotta lock in. I gotta lock in. Which
sure.
Some people
fucking Oscar
proudly
winner.
Do it as a career, and those people, I'm like, good for you, man. I love that for you.
Well, that central casting speech it went home. So I'll explain this inside baseball thing.
JBA.
So most people, when you come to LA and you're like, shit, I want to like make some money as a background actor, central casting is like the big one, and they sit you down in the orientation and they tell you the speech about like how you're just as important as the on-screen actor, which is very true. But like they really, and then they say the thing I think where Tom Cruise was discovered as a background actor or something, just enough. And I feel like
Brad Pitt, I think.
Yeah, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
I think take that out. Don't put that in. I think every time things have went left, it's been the nugget of that. Where it's like, maybe I'm gonna put a little sauce on this.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, this. We don't need a sauce.
Right up the middle.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I do. I love some fun folks.
I love background actors. They are crazy. Yeah. Two things can be true.
It is.
And again, I'm speaking as someone who has been a background actor.
Yeah.
Sure. I feel like it just demands a certain level of like commitment that, you
It
know,
does.
is tough.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Well, also like, because there's this other like like when you're a background actor too, like truly shout out to you because you really do get like, all right, you got to go over there. You got to like
you are treated like cattle.
Yeah, you're treated like cattle, and the delusion that makes me want to act, which is thinking that I am a star, is what kept me from background acting because I was like, nah, I got to be over there.
Right.
I got to be over there.
Yeah.
What you mean I'm not the most important person?
Right.
On set?
Yeah.
Still haven't hit number one. No, technically, when I do, I'm actually number one.
Okay.
Yeah,
but then,
he's been number one, folks.
Okay, I do not like that. This is the second week in a
number
row that I've
one.
mentioned
Call sheet
my
order.
call sheet number. Yeah, which
What is
also
happening?
means nothing to anyone. Like they have no clue what we're talking about.
Yeah. There is a great documentary called Number One on the Call Sheet on Apple TV
Oh,
that I
really?
watched recently. It's really good. It's a 2-part documentary. I don't know if they were related productions, but it's one for the black men in Hollywood, one for the black women in Hollywood.
Ooh.
They had different directors, so like a little stylistically different, but it's like the same thesis. And it's just them talking about like the struggle.
Yeah.
Really is what it is. It's a
Locked in.
really, really fucking good documentary.
So that should help you out if you're
Sure,
looking for
prerequisite.
extra.
Yeah.
Some of the babble that we just throw on.
Right. Watch those two. Come back to this. You'll really get it. You'll really.
We love having homework on this
Listen to it
podcast.
again.
Yeah.
It's a lot like watching a Marvel movie. You have to
Yeah,
have watched
you
the
gotta-
other things
yeah.
Have you
to understand what's happening
seen-
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, before you watch the Marvels, you got to see all three. No, I do think we are. Well, okay. My one background actor story of like deep pandemic had to do a scene that I was an actor in, and it was implied nudity. And it was a nude scene. And so like all the background actors are all nude,
Oh.
And I assume that's like an extra level of like,
They got to get
This was
paid
for
more.
Sex
really-
Lives of College.
yes, yeah, this was Sex Lives
Oh,
of College.
sure.
There was a naked party like at a college.
Right.
Everybody had to be naked, but also we were literally like,
You know how when we were in college, we were
Yeah,
all
it's like
going to
immediate
naked
cut,
because
parties.
first off, I didn't go to college, and if I would have heard that, I would have
gone to college.
okay, that's put it on the brochure. So that was a thing, I guess, at some colleges, and I didn't do that in college.
That's
but,
very
yeah.
interesting because anytime that I've been even close to like naked or done a sex scene, it's like very closed set energy.
It was.
So yeah,
still.
I wonder like what the energy is
But
when
it
you
was-
have so many
Right.
people.
Yeah,
No, it was like
yeah.
closed, but still with 15 people.
Yeah.
Right.
But because it was also in the middle of COVID, there was like clear it out every few minutes,
Right.
run a fan through, make sure everybody's
Yeah.
not too close to each other.
Interesting.
But it was closed in the sense like monitors were not on. So like
Yeah,
you kind of had to manage your own stuff. You know
Well,
what I
oh,
mean?
man.
Make sure you're like
Wow.
your hair's in the right place. But like, but yeah, to me, I was just like, oh wow, I wonder what like level you have to be at as a background actor to be like, I'm gonna be cool in a room full of naked people. I won't be weird.
Yeah.
Like, but
that's
also
tough.
I'm comfortable being naked, which is also hard. And yeah,
That's what I mean. I love background actors. It's like the hardest job, and they get zero respect.
sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. One of my partners was in the background of that Dying for Sex show.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
And they're because for this one, like they're like, oh, people they like looked for people who like have actually been at sex parties because it was
I thought you were going to
sex
say
party.
people have actually had cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no,
sex,
this was
died for sex.
This was a sex party scene
Okay.
where Robbie Hoffman plays a dom.
Okay. Sure.
Go check that out just for that sentence
Sure.
already.
Great.
But like they were in the background and they look like a bellhop, and it's very funny because I was like, yeah, you look like a bellhop, horny bellhop.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
It's a kink I didn't know I had till just now.
Yeah.
When I pictured it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
We get it now. Now that's some sex we'd die for. And closing it out, I don't know what that show's about actually, but
You're
I heard
close.
it's
She
quite
has
sad.
cancer, right?
Yeah, and I think she's trying to have like sexual experiences.
Right.
Before. Okay, yeah, I knew it
Before.
was gonna be
Yeah.
sad. I don't know if I can watch it.
I
mean,
think it's a comedy.
Yeah, it's a comedy.
Yeah.
Right, but
Who's the best friend?
sad.
Jenny Slate, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
and
comedy.
it's not like sad movie cancer where it's like you can't move around.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
It's
I
like
got it, and you're like
But like I'm like having a good
moving
time
around
before.
life, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
and going to a
I
sex
believe.
party.
I mean, yeah. No, I think that's good.
I haven't seen 50-50, but I feel like it could be like 50-50. Remember the Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie
Sure.
where like he has
But it's
cancer?
still
yeah, but I heard 50-50. You start crying.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
me
yeah.
either,
It's been
because
a
of-
minute. I don't remember.
men aren't supposed to cry. So I was like, I'm not going to put myself in the position.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Avoiding
I
all
left
emotions.
I left the country when my daughter was born because I heard you cry when you see your daughter when she's born. So I came after.
And you could have gotten half a point if you cried.
Yeah, I don't
tying
let
it back
myself
to
cry.
the show.
Yeah. Let's finish out the show.
You missed out on a lot of half points there, Iffy. All right. Points breakdown. Let's get to it. So you can find our rules on our Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. Toss us a follow as well. Quick fire favorites: Massimo, Cesar, Schwei. They each get half a point. Quick fire winner was Cesar with a point. Judges table was Massimo, Schwei, Bailey with a point each. And then the winner ended up being Schwei with 2 points, his first solo win. Just the side point winnings and losings. We got crying from Schwei for half a point. Vinny missed something on his plate, so that's negative, quarter point. Those guys are both mine. So it nets out to a quarter point. Next week, we know we're getting Calgary and pancakes. Okay. So the points of this week were Mike, 1.5 points.
Yes.
Iffy, 2.5 points.
On my way.
I don't like that you weren't the first point.
Fair. I got 3.75 points.
Okay.
And
so
then
even if we were tied, I still would not.
Sure.
Yeah, she's
Mike,
increasing the lead.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Well, Mike has 23 and a quarter point.
23 and a quarter.
Oh, yeah. Iffy, you got 32 and a half.
32 and a half.
And I'm currently at 50 and a half.
Jesus Christ.
Like as runaway could be.
Yeah.
It's insane.
But yes, lost Vinny this week. And now I only have Tristan Schwei.
Oh, I only have the 2 chefs. I've had one chef for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You have Massimo, Cesar.
No.
Came back. Oh, wait, no, you have Cesar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Massimo, you have Cesar, Bailey, Lana.
Yep.
So you have the most chefs.
Oh, yeah. And they've been, and these are
Good
ones
sign.
who've been knocking it out the park every week.
Yeah. Maybe next week you can get 20 points and catch up to Sierra.
Yeah.
Hey.
Look, Bailey's coming from the back.
A steady, yes, she's been at the top judges table multiple times.
Yeah.
So
a steady
all I
points
need is a
winner.
big Bailey episode, and we go home. And I'm going to cut the lead down by half.
Okay.
I believe it.
Atmos.
I believe it for you.
Yeah.
I have no dog in this fight anymore, but I'm putting my weight behind Iffy.
All right. Well,
Like the only way we would even dream of catching up is if like somehow you lost your players, but it would be the most devastating. Like
It would have to be like
sure.
like you have 2 of the top guys. So if Shawai and Tristan went home, that would change the whole makeup of the
it
show.
would have to be like if the next episode opened on a black screen with text that was like the plane containing these contestants went down on the way from Toronto
to Calgary.
Calgary.
Yeah, and it would be so devastating.
and the only people left are Lana, Bailey, and Cesar.
Yeah, that would be sad. That would be tough.
And even then, still might not catch up.
Well, it was so funny too
impossible.
because I feel like the 3 people I have are sleepers who can explode in the next couple
Absolutely.
of episodes.
Yeah.
But
But can they
the-
20 points explode?
exactly,
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. But also, it's like the people who are left on your team are like the strong
Yeah.
chefs.
Yeah.
You have a strong chef too. You just only have one.
I'm way in the back. Wait,
Massimo's
sorry. I
been
might have
hitting
missed
his
this. Did
stride.
Cesar get points for coming back in from Last Chance Kitchen?
Yeah,
Last
that's what kind of
Okay,
is
last week, yeah.
kept it from being 30
I see. All right.
points behind.
Okay.
Sure.
Wow.
All
Well,
right.
that's our assessment this week.
There's no Last Chance Kitchen to speak of. That's it.
Yeah. No more Last Chance Kitchen. That's donezo. I did kind of watch a little I keep saying the Krish with Dish, the Dish with Kish. Yeah, I think Joe Flam was on it again. I didn't really watch the whole thing, but check it out if you're into that kind of thing. Okay. So that's it. Any final thoughts? Excited about pancakes next week or things you're gonna do?
Nope.
I would like to talk about Bar Etoile because we glossed over it because
Sure,
we got
yeah.
some static in our
Yeah.
headphones, but it
Let's bring
was
it back.
really good.
Yeah.
What? I'm sorry. What is it?
It's in East Hollywood and not to be confused with Etra, which sounds very similar and is literally like across the street from it. I would say it's sort of like modern steakhouse kind of food. There was like a trout rillette, a steak frite. We got a pork chop we went with friends. We just kind of got like everything on the menu. The pork chop was like in an au poivre. It's like one of the best au poivres I've had in a while. Yeah, it was great. Everything was just like well executed, good vibes, great wine list, a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, Bar Etoile.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yes, indeed.
It's no Fuji, but
It's a Fuji
but I'm
buffet in
sure-
Glendale.
but I'm sure it's delicious. Okay. Thank you, everybody. So if you like this podcast, share it with someone, please. Also, please go to MaximumFun.org/join, where you can support us for as little as $5 a month. Really helps us out. It really keeps us going. It makes us keep doing this because it's fun, but also because,
It costs
it's
money.
tough.
it
Yeah,
costs
we
money.
gotta. We're driving in,
Keep
Gas.
It's gas money.
Yes.
That's the biggest cost.
Yeah.
I think so.
These studio lights power themselves. They're solar, but the gas on our cars.
But yes, the main thing, it does help us be a part of this Maximum Fun network. And we got Val and Gabe, obviously, shout out. So support us, please. And also other ways you can show your support. Send us some any thoughts. Drop us a line. Obviously, we read our YouTube comments. We read our DMs. We're on Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. Definitely follow us if you aren't already. Send us an email at chef@maximumfun.org. We will check it. I didn't check it this week, but I'll check it next week. Okay, cool. Didn't get anything. Thanks, guys. If you're doing your own Top Chef Fantasy League with friends, please tag us. Let us know how you're doing. For full unedited episodes, so you'll get that flub too. You can check us out on YouTube. And thanks again to my co-host Mike Caballon and
I was wrong.
Andrew
We
Wadaway.
did get an
Thank
email
you.
this week.
Oh, should we
We
I
can
love-
save it or
quickly squeeze this in.
if he's on his way out?
Yeah, if he's already
If he's
given
got to
up.
go. Sorry.
Okay, Sheila pointed out there is a Dish with Kish outtake that showed Gail saying at judges' table there will be no jokes about the Canadian accent, which is why we've not heard any jokes about Canadian A.
They did it in the first episode and they're like, that's it.
Yeah, I think Gail she put the kibosh on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay,
Well,
that's
thank
the
you,
email we got
Sheila.
this week. Thanks.
Be like Sheila. Write us a note if you're enjoying our podcast or if you have something to point out. We love to hear from you.
Yeah, don't be like Iffy and leave early.
Yeah. If he's gone, but we're still here. So thank you. We'll be back next week. TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our engineer is Gabe Mara. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Our artwork is by Sabrina Volante. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.